I am rockin' with B-Rock.
I'm rocking with B-Rock.
I'm rocking with B-Rock.
Tessie and I are rocking with B-Rock.
We're rocking with B-Rock!
We are
Shotgun Superstars. We're rocking with B-Rock.
I'm Chrissy.
And I'm Jim. And we're rocking with B-Rock.
Rocking with B-Rock!
We are Asphalt Valentine, and you are rocking with B-Rock.
Rocking with B-Rock! Ready to rock with B-Rock!
Hey, this is Paul Lydell from Dangerous Toys and Dirty Looks, and I'm rocking with B-Rock.
With B-Rock!
I'm rocking with B-Rock.
With B-Rock, and I'm looking forward to fight.
Hey, it's Jeff from American Jet Set, and you're rocking with B-Rock. Because you're smart. You got good taste.
What's up? Special Saturday. It's Saturday for Steve because he's in Australia, but it's Friday night for us. I keep thinking Saturday because whatever, but special Friday because trying to time things during the week with work schedules and everything like that doesn't work out when it's Australia or Europe. So like I said, today is Saturday for Steve, and it's Friday for us in the U.S. Whatever. It's hard to believe that they're that far ahead. You know, if I was to fly to Australia right now, I lose a day. You know, whatever. Well, let's get him on. This is one of my new favorite bands. One of my new favorite bands is Wicked Smile, and they're out of Australia. And they're cool. I mean, let's get him on so we can talk to him because I'm kind of excited about this one, if you can't tell. All right. Steve, my man, what's up?
Hey, Mike. Cheers, man.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you're in Australia. First question I have is, Australia had one of the, I guess you could say, tightest lockdowns in the world. I mean, that country just basically put up borders and said no one in or no one out. And so how is it now? How's everything going? And how's Australia doing?
Much better, man. And thank you for inviting me to be part of the show.
Absolutely. Thank you.
It's so much better in Melbourne, Australia. Actually, the city that I live in, Melbourne, we were the hardest hit, I think, in the whole world, as you said. And it was tough, man. I'm not going to lie. It was really tough. But it allowed me to actually form this band, Wicked Smile. And I'm so happy that I got the opportunity because I'm working with a bunch of fantastic musicians. And we've been able to release our debut album, Wait for the Night. So absolutely wrapped with the way things are going now. So we've been playing heaps of shows and we've got lots of stuff happening as well.
Good. I mean, it's like you said, you formed this band. What year? Because it was like, bam, out of the blue. I want to say it was 2020.
Yeah, well, I had the idea to. I'd actually just left my former band, Black Majesty, which is a power metal band, and I was in that band for almost 20 years. So we released something like about 8 albums, and it was time for me to do something different. So I wanted to get back to my roots, and I'm on great terms, by the way. So I'm still best of friends with the guys out of Black Majesty, but it was just time for me to get back to my roots. And I started thinking about some of my favorite bands. And in high school, it was bands like Judas Priest and Dio and Iron Maiden and Skid Row. Man, all those bands, they kind of got me into the style of music that I still, love today. And I thought, it's just time to get back to that and write a really, really good album. So it was late 2019 that I started writing a couple of songs, and I've been very good friends with a guy named Paul Lane, Canadian singer-songwriter, and has played, was a solo artist himself, and then on to join Danger after Ted. And so, I've been really good friends with Paul for almost a decade now, and I told him my vision, and I'd written 4 songs, and which are the ones that actually ended up on the first EP, the Delirium EP. And I I just wanted to run some songs by him just to see what his vibe was. And he loved the direction, he loved the songs, and helped me write the tunes. So we co-wrote that batch of songs together. And I then had to put a band together because, I mean, obviously he's in Canada and I'm, in Australia. So that wasn't going to work. So it was time for me to search out some members. And I've been part of the Australian scene for a long time. And one guy that I always wanted to work with and never had, and would never really cross paths properly because he was always in a band and I was always in a band, but I always looked up to was Danny Ciccardi, the lead vocalist.
Dude.
Man, what a voice, right?
Dude.
Yeah, he's just amazing and a fantastic front man. He's got the longest hair in rock and roll.
Longest hair in rock.
Yeah, man, and one of the best voices in rock metal. So
he reminds me, and this is an extreme compliment because he's one of my most favorite lead singers. Is Mike Howe.
Oh, wow, yeah, man. Yeah.
Easy. I hear Mike Howe in his voice, and it's like, oh my God.
Yeah, look, he just like me, we were little kids into metal, and we kind of went through a similar scene where we're roughly around the same age, and I'd always admired his vocals and him as a front man, and I contacted Danny and got him to listen to some of the material, and then pretty much, man, like, about a week later, we started recording the song We Fall. And that's when we both knew. As soon as he laid down vocals for that song, we were like, oh my gosh, Paul heard the stuff, in Canada. And he goes, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So basically the ingredients were there with Danny and myself. And then I handpicked some musos again that I just respected, and Glenn Cav on bass, who I went to high school with. So again, lovely person, fantastic bass sound, great bass player. We've got Jason Tyro on drums, and we've got Dave Graham on fellow lead guitar, who's just amazing as well. So the band was there, and then in and out of lockdown over the next year, throughout 2020, we started playing shows, and one of the few bands that was playing and drawing good crowds. So we would sell out, a venue that's close to us nearby, and I think we sold out 5 or 6 shows, and it was the response. And then the world started getting into it, and started to hear of this new band, Wicked Smile, and we put out the EP, as I mentioned, and it received a fantastic response, and it just kept on growing. Yeah,
right. And I had heard. It was probably about a year ago. I heard of Wicked Smile. I heard the name. I saw it starting to pop up, and when things start to pop up, you got to weed through stuff. And it's there's crap out there, and there's good stuff out there.
Sure.
So I saw it start popping up, and a couple months went by. I was like, okay, I got to check this out. Here and there. I got time, and I checked it out. I was like, what is this? Because it's different. It's the lyrics are so well thought out. I mean, and they mean something. That's hard. You're not a thrash metal band. You're power metal with a melodic twist to me.
Absolutely.
And it's like you're taking the best of the power metal and basically taking the best of the European metal scene, which is a lot of melodic, and you're kind of combining the two and giving us some great lyrics. I mean, such thought out lyrics.
Thank you.
It's almost like a concept album to me.
Yeah, well, that was a big focus, because a lot of the bands that we got, that inspired us as kids, were the sound always, just played on us. Like you mentioned before, I mean, some of the bands, like even bands like Icon.
Oh my God, dude.
Right? Yeah, like one of my favorite bands. So all these bands, and I mean, we were talking off the air with before about Cold Sweat. I mean, what a fantastic debut album, right? But So there was these bands that were underground. They should have been bigger than what they were. So it was just, some of it was timing. I felt really sorry for Icon because you had other bands. Not that there was anything wrong, but you had bands like Dokken and Rat sort of take over. They were around the same time, and I just think that both, in particular, the first two Icon albums are just some of the best. Yeah, best. Yeah,
World War. I mean, dude, Right Between the Eyes is one of my favorite albums. I'll crank that start to finish. Just
man.
I mean, it's more poppy and this and that, but it's like the first one and Right Between the Eyes are totally different albums, but they're both amazing.
Yeah,
amazing.
Man. Yeah,
Night of the Crime is amazing.
Night of the Crime, yeah, man. For me, it was the first two. So it was the debut and Night of the Crime that really did for me. And I just wanted to get back to something like that. And lyrically, some of the bands in that genre it was just more of that marketing of love and blah, blah, blah. And that's cool. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, we've got a couple of songs on the album like that as well. But we wanted to sort of take the step of a bit more thoughtful lyrics. We've got some songs about mental health, Days of Delirium. We've got Stronger, which is about bullying, and
that's a
lot of this stuff was firsthand. I mean, I had a daughter growing up in high school as a rock chick, and Cassidy, my daughter,
I'm pretty sure I know who your daughter is.
And she was given a hard time by a lot of the kids for trying to stand up for rock music, because I mean, rap music and blah, blah, blah is really, and I'm like, man, this is just so wrong. I mean, people should be able to like what they like without, getting hassled. And being a girl, people would, target her, oh, you're a girl playing guitar and blah, blah, blah. And it's just so wrong. So, we falls about the government and, I mean, we talked about COVID. And so a lot of the lyrics, we wanted to be less stereotypical of what the 80s was about, yet have that influence in terms of the sound. So, and man, I mean, the response has been amazing. It really has. So it just has been growing and growing, and we're really thankful for it. And enjoying it. Yeah, enjoying the ride.
Enjoy it. I mean, and you touched on it a little bit. Bands like Rat, bands like Poison, they had the big record company throwing money at this one and forgetting about your icon. But nowadays, with the internet, with Spotify and this and that, and different, and not mainstream radio, I'm also do a radio show where I play what I like, and I play a lot of the deeper cuts.
Awesome.
And people find that I play the icons, I play oh my God, they're all gone now, but I play the ones that don't get played.
Yeah, man.
And it's you have to, because they're out there and they're starting to get recognition. I hear Icon's rumblings of maybe doing something again, but they've been saying that for 2 years. But I think you with the way the music industry is now, it's all you have to do your own thing. So then you got to rely on social media and this and that to do it. And, so with the way the music industry is now, what's your thoughts on that with the Spotify and having to give it for free a little bit to try and get people in the door and buy the merch?
Yeah, look, I think there's pros and cons for a band like us who is independent, and we were offered some record deals, and I've said that openly, but I've kind of been there, done that with some of the smaller labels. And obviously, if there was a good label that was good for the band, of course we'd take it and sign on. But with both Danny and myself and the rest of the guys, we've probably put out about 40 albums over the years. So we've had experience collectively, I mean. So in terms of answering your question, back in the day, people would still have the radio or tape something, off, blank tapes and so on. So, I mean, that's been going on forever.
Oh, easy.
But Spotify, I mean, I think you have to use it to your advantage because it's there, whether you like it or not. I don't agree with the artist not and the songwriters not making any money pretty much from it.
Exactly.
It's so small. I think that's just not cool. But we're trying to use it to our advantage. I love things like YouTube, and I love
Right.
things that we're doing right now. The social media, I think it's fantastic because it gives us a voice and allows us to promote what we're doing. And I think it gets back to, if the product is good and you write a good album, people are starting to get back to that. Hey, we're choosing what we want to listen to. And that's the response we've received from a lot of people. People are just going, man, yes, you do have to search out the album. We haven't got the big labels like Frontiers or something who are backing us, but at the same time, people are searching us out and buying direct. And wherever possible, we'll try and throw in some extras into an order, or but allowing people to know where they can get our CD from. So it's not that hard if you do, click on our website, wickedsmileband.com. And yeah, I mean, it's available in the United States locally, so people can buy it and not have to pay, ridiculous.
Ridiculous. Hey, for good music, I'll pay ridiculous shipping.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the same. I mean, but us fans, sometimes it's a small percentage. I mean, I've got total respect for what you're saying, but then again, you get the casual fan who like, oh man, we've got to import it from Australia.
Right.
And some people were doing that before, but we're onto it. We've allowed people to. We've got a distributor in the United States. Again, great friends helping us, and people can buy it in the States and pay, United States postage, and that's cool.
Right.
So same thing with the UK. I mean, we've got distribution in the UK, and obviously in Australia and in Japan as well. So we're trying to do it the best way we possibly can. And yet understanding that there is a process and things that we've learned. So we're kind of acting as the label at this time. So in the future, who knows? I mean, there's been a lot of interest for people wanting to pick up the album on vinyl, and we're looking into that as well.
Dude. I'm a big vinyl guy, and I don't call it vinyl. I still call it an album. I mean, it's an album. But people call it vinyl now, and you have to say vinyl, or they're like, "What are you talking about? Album?
Yes.
It's an album, or it's a record." I mean, But I love, I love having that big thing. I have my turntable hangs from the ceiling, and I got underneath of it is where I stick the album. So I'll sit on the love seat over there, put the album on, and just sit down and take it in. And that's how I always listen to something first, either on vinyl, and if I don't have it on vinyl, it's headphones, just to get the full effect of that. You can't get it through Spotify. If I'm washing the truck, that's Spotify. If I'm at work, it's Spotify. But if I'm at home, it's album, and if I can't get the album, it's CD on the stereo system. Full music.
Because you love the music, you're a real fan, and that's it. Right. And that 100%, I hear you, man. I'm the same. I mean, I go into my studio and I'll put on some records, and you just go, yeah, man, that's
man.
Exactly. And the artwork, and that's the thing with our band as well. I mean, because it's about a visual, and we've got a concept, so it all works hand in hand. And that's what we're trying to bring back the heavy rock show, the metal rock show, and when people see us, they're like, oh man, you guys sound like the record, and we're big on that, because what you hear is what you get. We can do it, So what we've recorded guitar wise, we actually play on these days. Some people record some stuff, and you go see them live, and you think, man, that doesn't sound anything like that.
Right.
So we pride ourselves on that. We love it, and just enjoy music. Yeah.
Right. And speaking of the artwork on the album, it is so simple, but it's so cool, and it just, you have to check it out. You see that artwork, and you're like, okay, what the hell? All it says, wicked smile, a girl's face, and the hand coming on. It's like, okay, I got to check this out. Just like when you were in the record store, early days, back in the day, you'd be flipping and something would catch your eye. Sometimes it was great. Sometimes it was good. Fantastic.
That's right. And it was all absolutely, man. And it was all a learning experience because, back in the day, I'd be flicking through records and you lift up and you like see an album and you go, man, look at this cover. And then you read the back and you go, oh, it's produced by this producer. That's cool.
Boom.
And there's friends and, and I look at the credits and the thank yous and stuff. And that's what we try to do. We've really trying to embrace that because, getting back to the bands that we love, like Dio, you pick up Holy Diver, and you look at the album cover and you're like, man, that's awesome. Or Kiss, awesome. or Van Halen, or all that stuff. You just go, man, Iron Maiden. They just had, with Eddie and stuff. We love that, and we just wanted to sort of get back to that. And I think a lot of people have are showing respect. And it's our way of showing respect of it's like a tip of the hat to the genre of music that we love, whether it be 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s. Right.
If it's good, it's good.
It's good. Exactly, man.
And that's the way it is. It doesn't matter what year it comes out. Everybody says, everything died in the 90s. But there was still, I did go away. I was like, you know what? Screw this. I'm done. And I went away for about 10 years. Right. And then I came back and I started discovering, wait a minute, there was stuff getting released. Some of it wasn't that good. They were trying to mimic grunge, like Slaughter did it, people, Wasp went electric and or industrial. And, it was like, but they were still trying. And then
I think a lot of the that time people got a little bit confused and some were trying to jump onto the next bandwagon, which never works.
Never. Stay true to you.
And then you got some, like you mentioned before, some people just go, nah, well, I'm not going to give it a go. But I remember chatting to a friend the other day and we're talking about the band Tesla. And I love Tesla. And
very good live band.
Yeah, man, unreal. And we were talking about how when Bust the Nut came out, I mean, that time,
dude,
there wasn't a whole lot of bands still playing more of that. That's just such a good album, man.
Dude, it is one of my favorites. That and Psychotic Supper.
Yeah, man.
But Bust the Nut went under the radar, and I didn't even know about it. And then it's like you picked it. I picked it up one day. I was like, this is actually really freaking good.
Yeah, it's really good. And so, there was some albums that came out, you just go, man, that is so, so good. And, look, I just think good on them. They were staying true to themselves. And, so it was a little bit of a tricky time. But, like you mentioned before, if something's good songs will always be king.
Always be good.
Any genre. So from bands like Rainbow, like Rising is one of my favorite albums. Then you got Manowar or Kiss or
Manowar, dude. You're speaking my language today. Oh my god.
Good stuff, dude.
Dude, man, blow your speakers.
I've got a room just like yours, man.
Right, you gotta. And then we're talking, off air, we were talking for a couple of seconds.
Sure.
He noticed my shirt. He's like, Cold Sweat. I'm like, dude, yes, Cold Sweat. There's not a lot of people know about him, but they're starting to know about him because we can go backwards now with YouTube and Spotify. So it's actually, in a way, helping.
Yeah.
In a way, it's ripping the artists off, no doubt in my mind, and no question about it. But it's kind of helping a little.
I agree. Yeah, like we mentioned before, man, there's pros and cons. But if at least people have got the ability to go back, or some labels are re-releasing albums. Like, I mean, there's so many people I've talked to. Like when I've been to the States previously, that there's a couple of Facebook groups like Melodic Mafia and Glam Rock City. They love the genre, and I love that too, which I'm part of that. And I'll speak to some people and they love it. I just got off the phone with a good friend named Scott this morning, and we were just talking about just rock music, man, and just really enjoying good quality albums, and we're talking about what's new. Oh man, have you heard this? Have you heard that? And slowly, the scenes starting to make a comeback. I mean, we're on tour in December in Australia with Skid Row, and to me, that's just amazing because I think with the new singer Eric Gromwell, he cuts it, man. He's awesome. So yeah,
that dude is amazing.
Yeah, he's amazing. He's got and I followed him in his old band Heat, and
He's amazing.
Yeah, man, and like so. I can't wait to be part of this tour because, when I've met some of my idols, like a couple of years ago, I was on tour in the UK and I met Dave Snake from Skid Row.
Nice.
And I told him, I go, man, you're one of the reasons why I picked up the guitar. And he gave me a hug and you could tell it was so sincere. You know what I mean? He's just, you could tell he's the real deal. And so I can't wait, man. We're so excited because it's going to be great for us because we're traveling around Australia. We're going to be playing in front of their crowd, and people get to hear We Could Smile for the first time, many people, and some people who have loved the band get to see us, and we get to play with one of our favorite bands. So
and that's it right there. And, like I say it all the time, go in for the opening band. Go in for the opening band. Go in for the opening band. That's how I discovered Tesla.
Oh, unreal. Who were they playing?
They blew Def Leppard, Hysteria Tour, blew them off stage.
Wow.
Totally. Went out the next day, bought their album. But if you don't go in for the opening band, you're not going to get them goosebumps for something new. You're not gonna get the tingles and go, oh my God, listen to this. We all want that feeling. Music gives us that feeling.
I 100% agree. Yeah, man.
It kind of happened with Wicked Smiles album with me. I was like, it was new, it was fresh, it was good. It was, you dive into it, and the more you dive into it, the deeper you get, and the more you pull out of it. It's like, oh my God. And then, you listen to the music first. Absolutely. And then you start listening to it more, and you're listening to the lyrics, and you're going, holy shit. And, you get more out of it. And, it's just, if you see that band on Facebook that your friend just shared, and you're friends with that person, and they share a band, listen to it, because you two have the same taste most of the time. Why would you not be friends? You probably go to the same shows. So click that link. Take that 3, 4, 5 minutes. Click that link and listen to what your friend. If your friend shares it, they're sharing it because they love it.
Exactly. And that's the thing, like you mentioned before. Sometimes you get some people who love the era of the 70s, 80s, 90s, but they'll only listen to that era.
Right.
Like with us, We Could Smile. I mean, we're influenced by the era, but we're new. And when, just like you're talking about, when people take a risk on something new, and I think that's in some ways, as sad as it is, with COVID happening and people being at home, I think people took a risk on a new band like us. And they're like, hey, man, I keep on seeing this band, We Could Smile. What's that about? And then they, will give it a go. And they're like, man, I've got to buy the album. And that's real. And first and foremost, we're fans of the music as of the genre as well. So, I mean, we'll go out and buy I can't wait to get the new Skid Row album.
Right.
But having said that, I also can't wait to get, like the new album from an Australian artist as well, as in like a brand new band or someone from Sweden, or like the new Heat album, the new Crazy Licks, and so on, so there's so there's all these things, that are just, it goes hand in hand. And man, and I start thinking back in the day, the reason I got into music is because it made me feel good. And I think sometimes people forget it, but when they do, they do see something, or because, we're going to be more exposed with the Skid Row tour. They're like, hey, man, you guys are really good. And it's like, man, and that makes us happy because we're all about spreading the word.
All right. This is Michael Sikorsky. Huge fan. He loves you guys.
Oh, cool.
But you're doing your first headline tour in November of the UK.
Correct.
Yes, how many dates? 7, 8?
Oh gosh, I've got to check. I think it's something like about 12 or 13.
12 or 13? Okay, I didn't know.
Yep. And we're playing our first show will be at Hard Rock Hell, which is a big festival in the UK, and I think Skid Row's part of that as well. So there's a bunch of bands that we'll be touring alongside. So again, it's going to be great for exposure. And then we play a whole bunch of dates around the UK. So we're there for the whole of November, and we're playing club shows. And we finish with a festival late in November called Winter Storm. And I think Vandenberg's on the bill. There's so many cool bands. So it's just going to be a lot of fun. So really looking forward to it. And then we come back in December and go on tour in Australia with Skid Row. So it's
going to be a great, a magical end of year.
Absolutely. Well, actually, in a fortnight's time, I'm on tour with my daughter's. She's a solo artist named Cassidy Paris, and she's supporting two Swedish bands, Heat and Crazy
Legs.
So, man, it's
I know,
just like,
that's
loving 2022,
dude. That house is rocking right now.
Yeah, man.
That house is rocking. I was like,
what's left of 2022, man? I'm just super keen and just really excited about it.
So do you and your daughter ever see each other?
Well,
I mean,
we catch up at rehearsal once a week. So
exactly.
Now
you play guitar with her too, don't you?
That's right. I play guitar in her band. So and the other guys, and that's the thing. She's coming on tour with us in the UK, so I get to teach her and educate her of the ins and outs, and but she's a very mature girl for her age, and she's still a teenager, but man, she's just getting better and better, and she's got a great bunch of songs, and can't wait.
Already use the word phenomenal. You can already use that word. I mean, I've been watching her for about a year.
Cool.
I do that. I'll watch and watch and see what's coming with, certain artists. And, I don't just jump in and go, oh my God, they're great.
Yes.
Because, you gotta watch them a little bit. And I've been watching and I'm like, okay, she's getting on the show pretty soon. I gotta talk to her, because it's only a matter of time. She's starting to catch fire here in the U.S. People are talking about her, and so it's like, she's young, she's hungry.
She since she was a kid, she's always loved music, and from the age of about 7 or 8, she was playing guitar and started singing and started writing songs. I think that's the thing with a lot of people these days, that'll just be covers, and that's cool. Don't get me wrong. I mean, she just recorded a Soraya cover of Love Is Taking Its Toll. So
wow,
dance, man. So she
I haven't heard that one yet.
Oh man, I'll have to send you the link.
Crap.
So, she recorded that, but she's got her new single, original song coming out, which is a very 80s influence, and man, it's a killer. It's coming out in about a bit over a month's time.
Oh wow!
Can't
wait!
It's gonna be good.
Wait! I mean, it's very cool. I mean, it's awesome. So, what do you do outside of music? Like when you're not with Wicked Smile, what's going on with Steve? I mean,
Steve. Well, look, I'm. My other job is I'm a, what do you guys call it? An elementary school teacher. So I teach.
Oh wow!
Yes, I'm a primary school teacher. We call it in Australia. So I teach kids from the age of 5 to 12, and just around the corner. And I love that. I'm a substitute, but I've been at the same school for about a good 10 plus years. And that allows me to do my music and travel and stuff. But so I absolutely love that. I love teaching little kids. And a lot of it is music, some of it it's, just the day-to-day math and English and stuff. But, wherever possible, if there's a kid carrying a guitar, I'll try and inspire them and stuff.
Exactly.
So, that's a big thing. And my son's actually he's a teenager himself, and he's really big on Aussie rules, Australian rules football. Have you seen any of that?
Yes.
Yes, it's pretty crazy.
Yes. That is crazy.
No helmets or anything.
Right.
He's a good little footballer. Well, I shouldn't say little because I'm almost 6 foot, and my son's 6'5", and he's 16. So he's really tall, and he's doing really well for his football. So that's
nice.
Something really, it's something different that he's really into. So he loves his sports, and man, I just love life, man. I'm all about. I'm a positive person, and I'm not really into negativity or anything like that. So yeah, man, and music's a huge thing, obviously. So with my family and my wife, and so yeah, man, it's all good.
It's all good. I mean, everything just seems to keep rolling for you, rolling. Now, if you had say you had a artist Mount Rushmore, Mount Rushmore is the one that we have with 4 presidents on it. Who would be your 4 artists that you would put on your artist Mount Rushmore?
Okay, I'd say Ronnie James Dio would be there.
Absolutely.
Oh gosh, great question, by the way.
I love doing this question. I do it every now and then. It just
I'd say George Lynch.
Nice.
Yeah, he big inspiration. Eddie Van Halen.
Oh yeah.
And to finish it off, Randy Rhoads.
Oh God, yes. Wow, that's a good one. And asking that kind of a question, it kind of makes you think of and then people get to know you better and your influences.
Yeah.
So I always love doing that because who's your, that's basically who's your inspiration, who's
definitely
done it for you.
Yeah. Well, as a kid, I remember hearing Dio and just loving it. And then I went back and heard Black Sabbath and Rainbow and, just really searched out his stuff and continued to be a huge Dio fan. And if I could put a band, it'd definitely be Skid Row, even because in high school, when I was about 12 or 13 years of age, that debut album changed things for me. Just go, wow. And that was the reason why I wanted to play guitar, as I mentioned earlier, because.
And then that album changed things. And then their second album changed it again.
Absolutely, man.
I mean, it just was like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah, Slave to the Grind was absolutely awesome. I feel sorry for him because when Subhuman Race happened, I mean, there's a lot of internal stuff going on and music was changing. I think they got confused. So that's why I'm so excited for this new album, because so far the first 2 singles that I've heard, it's back to somewhere in between the debut and Slave to the Grind. So
it absolutely is. I mean, and I gotta admit, when I first heard, because I know Eric from Heat and this and that, loved him, and when it first was announced, I was driving home from work and I'm like, and then my phone blew up. People asking me what I thought. I said, I don't know, man. I really don't know if this is gonna work.
Sure.
And then one of my friends around, he had the song and he's like, all right, dude, listen here, take, because I posted, I said, I don't know what to think. I'll have to wait till and then he sends me this thing and I'm like, oh my God. It's like breath of fresh air. And then the second single comes out. I'm like, okay, they're going to fall flat. Nope. Power. I'm like, okay. And the bands are starting to put out quality music again. They're starting to think about it, not just sitting, and it's nice. And it like
sounds like classic Skid Row, like you said. All right, it does. I've got to ask you, man, because you asked me the question, who would you put as your 4 on Mount Rushmore?
Oh boy. Now see, I'm a drummer, so I love drummers. And okay. Scott Rockenfield from Queensryche. Absolutely. Fantastic. That dude is one of the most amazing drummers.
Operation Mindcrime is one of my 10 albums of all time.
I could sit there and watch this guy and just be blown away and never be able to play like him. And I'm okay with that.
Sure.
Dio absolutely has to be there. Absolutely. 110%. Oh my God. Bruce Dickinson with the voice, you just can't go wrong. I have to have him because he is absolute, to this day, still one of the one of the premier vocalists.
Yep.
Oh my God, who would be the fourth? Who would be the fourth? What started it all for me was Led Zeppelin, and hearing Led Zeppelin, hearing him on the radio, and Jason Bonham.
Yeah.
So it would have to be Bonham. I mean,
Nice.
it has to be.
Yeah.
But,
no, respect. Yeah.
And that could change tomorrow. I mean, you know how it goes.
Reflecting, I would have Rob Halford as number 5 because
right. Easy.
That was just like early, particularly early Priest, and continuing on. His voice was just, man, that was metal. I mean, he's the metal god, right? So yeah, right. Bruce Dickinson, Rob Halford, man, yeah, unreal.
Twins. I mean. Yep. I just did a radio show, or I'm doing it this week.
Yep.
It's based 1981. That's the theme.
Cool.
And really, that was the year that I turned a corner. I was listening to like Kansas and Ted Nugent and Mott the Hoople and this, that kind of stuff. And then I heard Headed Out to the Highway on the radio one night. And I'm like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
And then every night I tune into this station, K104 in Erie. And I'm hoping at 7 o'clock they were going to play it again. And they did. For 3 nights in a row, they played it. And I'm like, I got to find out who this Judas Priest is.
Yeah,
so that Judas Priest, that one song changed my whole outlook. And it's like in 1981 was just, and I dived back into 1981. It was like, oh yeah, Praying Mantis, and these
Riot,
other bands.
Riot, are you
Riot? God. And it's like, wow, all this stuff came out and, and that's when it was turning and changing. And it's fun to go backwards and check stuff out.
100% agreement. Sometimes it's interesting because I'll chat with some people and they'll go, what are you listening to? And, I'll mention something, that's old and they'll go, why? And I'm like, because it's good, man. It's
why
good.
Not?
It's paying respect to the ones that came before.
Right.
And whereas, some people that I think they find it difficult to understand that because they always just want to hear stuff that's new, or they'll listen to stuff that's fed to them by the radio or the
right.
I'm thinking to myself, man, there's so much good stuff out there. And it's like back in the day when if someone gave you a cassette, you loved that guy or girl, right? You're
right.
like, man, with with a mixtape,
Mixtapes. Hell yeah. Or the buddy calls you up on the phone and says, dude, he puts the phone up to the boom box and says, you got to hear this. And he plays you the Ozzy Osbourne Diary of a Madman album for the first time.
Yes.
And you're like, what? And you sit on the phone and listen. And, it's just, I can go back. I love to go back because it takes you back to a memory. Yeah. And it takes you back to a feeling.
Man, where do you live? Which area? Where did you grow up in?
I grew up in Erie, Pennsylvania, and I actually live in Charleston, just outside of Charleston, South Carolina.
Oh, okay, cool, right. So in Australia, I mean, hard rock was probably bigger as opposed to metal. Like bands like, it was very underground, but bands like Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, Dio, it was more of an underground thing. I mean, whereas I know in the States, you guys had Priest and Scorpions really popular, right?
That
didn't really happen as much for us. It was Poison, more of the late 80s, early 90s, like Motley Crue, Poisons, Skid Row, so on. So if it particularly like I was that kid, and I'm sure you were, man, when I was in school, and I'm it's strange, kind of going full circle being a teacher, but I was mastering the Dio logo or the Motley Crue logo or the Thin Lizzy logo, on my school books.
Right. You would paper bag it.
Exactly.
You get that grocery bag and then you're doing, that's, I thought I was an artist, man. I could do Iron Maiden perfectly, dude. And it's like, wow.
Exactly. I think there's so many of us who just lived that. And, people, I remember my teacher once, pulling me aside saying, do you understand this about history? And I just remember going, well, and I'm thinking, and she goes, well, you can master the Iron Maiden logo, right? But I'm finding it hard to remember Pythagoras in maths or whatever.
I'm getting better at history now because listening to Iron Maiden more, I'm like,
That's
oh, that's right, Genghis Khan,
yes,
and,
exactly
and
right.
Alexander the Great. I'm like,
Alexander
oh
the
yeah,
Great.
that's
Yes, man.
right.
Yeah,
He
for
did
sure.
this, and I feel like
Yes.
calling my teacher up and saying, I get it now, man. This is great.
Fantastic. I love it, man.
It's
Very
like I
true.
said, we're all the same, and you talked about your Cassidy getting bullied and stuff,
Yeah.
and we did,
Yeah.
but
Of course,
it
man.
wasn't as much as it is today. But there was others that looked at us like
For
we
sure,
were
man.
outcasts, drug addicts,
Of course.
losers,
Yep.
never going to amount to shit. Look
Yeah.
at us now. I
Yeah,
mean,
exactly, man.
and
100%, man. And look, you know what? It's all about happiness and enjoying things, and I love the fact that for us, music was there, so it was always there. You could pull out an album if you weren't feeling good and just listen to that and just enjoy it, or head out to a party or else go and see a band, man. That's cool. And I really hope things turn on the wheel and rock music and metal is allowed to have that exposure again sooner rather than later. I'm sure it will happen, but
I'm thinking it's gonna, because you have, I mean, and Cassidy's a woman. She's out there playing music. You have Burning Witches. You have Cobra Spell. You have, Shez Kane in England. You got Ladies of Rock coming out. You've got Battle Beast. You got these Ladies of Rock coming out. You've got your Wicked Smiles. You've got other bands coming out and bringing it back. And the young kids with shows like Cobra Kai. You got shows like Stranger Things, which is one of my favorites. And they're bringing that soundtrack back. There was another one that it was a cartoon character or whatever. I just could not get into the storyline. But man, they play some Pretty Boy Floyd and shit like that. And I was like, wow, this is great.
Yeah.
But it's like, these shows are bringing it back too. So they're pushing it a little bit.
I agree. Wigwam had the success with
Wigwam.
With their single as well. And that's cool, man.
That show.
I 100% agree. And that is cool. And it's good that people are starting to stand up for it and go, you know what? This is cool. We need to expose more people to it, because some people, as sad as it is, they're followers, right? And some people won't, they won't take a chance on stuff. And then, when they do discover it, they love it. I wish there was more people who would, like yourself, man, who are just promoting it. So, yeah, man, that's cool. That's really cool. So what time is it there right now, Mike?
It is almost 9, I think. And it's almost 11 where you're at, right?
That's right. And yeah, we're
14.
We're in the future, right?
You're in the future, dude. I mean, I talked to Angry Anderson one night, and I was like, he's like, yeah, it's Sunday. He's drinking his coffee, and I'm like, what are you talking about? And it did dawn on me. I was talking to him on the phone, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. You're in Australia. And he's like, I'm just drinking my coffee and this and that. And it was like evening for me, and I'm like, okay, But I mean,
well,
it's like
when I take a plane to LA, I arrive earlier than. Yeah, then the time it's just amazing, what I mean?
It is amazing.
I was in America, right? It's just like, man, it's just it's bizarre.
You gain a day, and if I go to Australia, I'm losing a whole day.
You're losing, that's right, correct.
I get there, leave on Friday, get there on Saturday, and go, what the hell happened here?
Yep, man.
But it's cool.
Cool.
So anything else you want to, get out there? What do you got? Anything you got coming up? New singles dropping?
Sure. Well, we've just started writing new material, so we're working on a couple of tracks at the moment. I mean, it'll be a process because we want it to be quality, we want it to be good when we do release the stuff. But early next year, I think we're aiming at releasing a single, and then it will just continue. As I mentioned, we've got the UK tour happening in November. We've got Skid Row Australia-wide tour in December, and then hopefully keep building. And yeah, man, it's just all about just trying to write really good songs and a good album, a good collection of songs with no fillers. So
you did that with the first one.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely did that with the first one. There's no
Thank you.
question in my mind. And I'm hard to please. I'm
Thank
not
you.
easy.
No, look, I
I am
appreciate it. I can tell, man, with your knowledge that you're on the ball, man. So I appreciate that, and we're hoping that we can get to the States. I mean, there's a lot of people who I'm getting mail from people wearing Wicked Smile shirts at Monsters in the Mountain and stuff like that.
I
So
know Larry Morad, he loves to get new blood on the Monsters of Rock cruise that I
and
love.
we're keen. We've
I
really,
mean,
yeah, man, that would be unreal. So we'd love to be
dude.
part of the cruise for sure.
And he's always looking. He's looking for European, for them other bands that and there's me, and there's a couple other guys like Charles Brown, Steve Rock, that are always pushing
Yeah.
and getting on the page and saying, check these guys out, check these guys out, and he pays attention. Larry's got his finger on the pulse, so.
Fantastic. Well, man,
Wicked
if you
smile.
put in a good word for us, we're definitely keen to be part of that.
Absolutely, we'll put on a good word for you. Okay. When you get back early next year, I'd love to have you back. See how the tours went. See how you're coming along with the new music, and I wish you the best on both tours of the UK and Australia. Hanging out with Skid Row, dream come true for you.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for doing this. I will promote you guys. I will be out there just banging the gong for another new band that's really kick ass. Power metal with melodic metal. If you're into either one or you're even into the 80s glam shit, you're gonna love these guys. These guys have got it. And I wouldn't put my name on the line if I didn't believe it, and I think you guys are really good.
Very appreciated. Thank you, Mike. Cheers from Australia, my friend.
Hey, you have a good night and take care. Safe travels all around. And tell your daughter I'm going to be getting a hold of her because I'm really digging her too.
Thank you. Shall do. Cheers.
I will end the show as we say goodbye to Mr. Steve. I will end the show with their Days of Delirium video, which anybody who sees this is absolutely going to love it. No doubt about it in my mind. But you have a great night, and I will talk to you very, very soon.
Thank you. Cheers, my friend.
Thank you.
Bye. See ya.
Thank you, Steve, for being here. I mean, great guy. I mean, God, he loves some cool bands, doesn't he? I love talking to people. I love it. And that's why I do this, just to talk to people. But anyway, back to the subject at hand. Wicked Smile. Check them out. Wicked Smile on Facebook. They're on YouTube. Wicked Smile. Wicked Smile on Spotify. I'll put up some links. I'll share some vids. But right now, if you have not heard these guys, you can hear them right now. This is one of my favorites off the album. And tell me you don't hear Mike Howe in this guy's voice. I mean, it just gets me. And it's a little metal church going on in there with a little of this and a little of that. It's just fucking awesome. Just check it out. Gotta hear it. This is Wicked Smile, Days of Delirium. I will see you next Thursday. I will have Cody Parks and the Dirty South on Thursday, 7:30. Radio show, The Rock Altar, Tuesday, 6 p.m. Be there. We're doing 1981. Bam. Here's Wicked Smile, Days of Delirium. Have a great Friday. I hit the wrong button. All right. Here's Days of Delirium, Wicked Smile. Have a great Friday. Later.